Alrighty, we're live here in the OTT room doing a little solar eclipse tips coverage. And let's get right to it. And hold on, make sure my settings are right there. So I've got a couple things to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about the eclipse itself. It's ongoing right now. I just took a look with my solar glasses outside and it has started. We're clear right now in Mobile. And that was about the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is my first time seeing a solar eclipse because the last one that we had too much cloud cover. But thankfully right now in Mobile we're clear. And I'm in here. You're going to want to get outside and take a look at this soon. Right now you're not going to notice any difference outside at all. No difference really unless you're looking at it with eclipse glasses. But once we get towards around 60%, which will happen around noon, you're going to start to notice things, and that's why I have all these cool tools here. We'll do some stuff. So let's go science first. And let's break this down, shall we? So here's what we have. 2023 solar eclipse. This is an annular solar eclipse. So a little background on what's happening. That 90% area, that's kind of a bit of a roundup there. 90% coverage. 90% coverage will happen kind of near the coast of Texas. However, most of the area that you see there that's 90 will be closer to 89%. And that's because it's not a total eclipse, it's an annular eclipse. Annulus means ring. It's kind of where that word comes from, an annular eclipse, a ring of fire. And you might have heard it talk about, we also have another live stream going on right now on our website. That's our company, Gray Television, showing coverage from where it's actually pretty much peaking right now. So that's a cool thing. Of course, we want to take a look at that. But for us, here's some viewing tips for us. And we're going to be around 66% coverage. So you'll notice it, maybe, if it's perfectly clear outside. You might notice some weird shadows and maybe a smidge darker outside. We might actually drop a couple degrees in temperature. So here's where we are. And partial eclipse has just started. So it started at 10:37. We are on our way to the maximum eclipse. The peak of the eclipse will happen in Mobile at 12:10 and 5 seconds. So 12:10 and 5 seconds. It's going to be a really cool thing to see. You're going to see the sun in a crescent. Now, you will not be able to look at this with your eyes. You will not be able to look at this with your eyes. However, if you don't have solar eclipse glasses, there are plenty of ways you can look at the shadows cast, the inverse shadow of the moon and the sun. You'll see some crescent-shaped shadows. It's just plain cool. All right, let's take a look at when this eclipse ends. So 1:47 p.m. and 49 seconds. That's the exact time that the eclipse ends for our area. And thankfully, we don't have a ton of clouds this very second. However, some areas do. Let's take a look at the cloud cover. And some areas are in overcast skies and it's moving towards Mobile, so I'm a little nervous. However, the coverage is looking a little less than I thought. So hopefully we get some of this to burn off and we can get some skies to where you can see this solar eclipse. Because the Futurecast is not too promising. Let's take a look at one version of Futurecast, and there are those clouds. And as we go towards the peak, they stick around. So it looks like we might have a few clouds, but hopefully we get a little bit of burn off of those low clouds. And as the eclipse ends, the clouds move off to the east. And we have a cold front moving through. It's bringing in cooler air. Clouds also shown on the HRRR, a little bit brighter colors there. That's just kind of the colors that we're using on this map. Doesn't necessarily mean they're clouds. But you see the representation of clouds across the area as we go through 1 o'clock. So it's going to be kind of hit and miss thing. Right now we're doing well, though. Eclipse forecast. I wanted to show you this. This is what it looks like through solar eclipse glasses. You see that crescent shape there. It's really cool through solar eclipse glasses, but that's of course not the only way. You cannot look at it through sunglasses. They have to be the approved glasses. You see all the writing on that, all those approvals there. All right, the forecast for us, peak eclipse happening around noon, 77 degrees. We might see a little bit of a temperature drop there with it. And your viewing tips for you, this is the simple one. Do not look directly at the sun. Do not look directly at the sun. Sunglasses don't even provide sufficient protection. I'm saying these solar eclipse glasses, they're not sunglasses. In fact, when I put them on, I can't see anything. They're so dark, they're so well filtered, specifically designed for solar eclipse viewing. And really it is safer to view it indirectly by projecting the sun's image with a pinhole or binoculars. And what do we mean by that? Well, here's a really cool picture of what it looks like through trees. This was on a clear day eclipse many years ago, a few years ago, and you can see the crescent shapes. We might see something like that here on the Mobile area Gulf Coast. So something to look forward to. So we'll get towards the noontime hour if we don't have the clouds. I'm like jumping when I'm saying that. So you can see it with your approved solar eclipse glasses. You can have a DIY box eclipse viewer. Now that's really crafty, and if you want to do that, you have a little bit of time, you can just Google it. It takes a shoebox, you cut a hole in the shoebox on the side, then you cut other holes, you take a piece of aluminum foil, tape it on there. It's a little bit of a process, but it's fun, and if you're crafty, you can decorate it and make it look cool. This is going to be the one that I'm talking about most, the DIY pinhole projector. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. And then also you can watch the shadows under the trees. So here are my solar eclipse glasses. Now these are from 2017. They're getting a little rough, but they're still working. There's no scratches on them. In fact, it even says like, do not use if there are scratches. And I want to read this. It says, conforms to and meets the transmission requirements of ISO 12312-2 filters for direct observation of the sun. So that's why these work. These are actually from NASA. These provided by NASA. I got these at a conference not too long ago, and I cannot see a thing right now. It's completely black. So when I go outside, though, and look at the sun, it does look really cool. Pinhole viewer. The science behind it's interesting because you're essentially projecting the shadow. You're doing a projection. And what does he have? Kitchen utensils in here. These have holes. These are pinholes. And essentially, when you hold it up to a flat surface, the sun shines through it, you're going to get this. You're going to get that kind of crescent shape effect, especially during the peak. You probably won't notice it until we get close to the peak, when there's enough of the sun covered. So colander, strainer, something with holes, maybe even a cheese grater. If you got one that's flat, that might work. Anything with small holes will work and get you that. This is from the Studio 10 kitchen. This is a spatula, so there you go. If you want to use that, you hold that up to a flat surface, and you'll see the sunlight and the shadows through that. Now let's get crafty. Let's do this. So I've got a few things here. I've got scissors, tape, I've got pieces of paper, and I've got aluminum foil. So a few different things there. And I've got a toothpick. I do not have a pin on me. A pinhole would work better, but I'm going to work with what I have here. I'm going to take this piece of paper, just regular. This is actually one of our rundowns for one of our shows. This was the 5 p.m. show from yesterday. And I'm going to fold it in half real quick just so I can cut it a little easily. And one second, there we go. I'm going to cut this. All right. And let me switch this back to me real quick. All right, cutting a small piece out of this, and I folded it in half to just do it like this. So I get this, right? Now I'm going to take my aluminum foil, and I'm just going to kind of tape this. So I'm going to take my aluminum foil here and tape it on this. This just makes it a little sturdy. If you have cardstock paper, that'll work a little better. Or you can also do this with cardboard. That's a good way to do it. Take my tape, tape this on there. And I'm kind of doing it. Doesn't have to be an exact science. I can make this a lot prettier. But I kind of also want to get outside soon. And then, I've already poked a hole in this, but what I'll do, so now I have aluminum foil on my piece of paper. I'm going to take a little pinhole. Don't poke yourself. And I've got a couple holes in this now. You can see it a little better on that side. So I got a couple holes in this. And then I would take another piece of paper, cardboard, or any flat surface that's easy to see, and this will be your projector screen. Projector screen, you hold it up to the sunlight with your back to the sunlight. This will work better with cardstock paper. And then you can hold it up and you will actually see on the paper just a little shadow and then a little piece of light. That little piece of light is the pinhole, and the light from the sun will shine through it, and then you'll be able to see what shape the sun is at. So that's probably a little bit more of an extra way to do it. What I did earlier, I did this one on air. Took a piece of paper, said, boop. Has to be a perfect circle. I have to be careful here. There we go. Has to be a really nice circle. The really nice circle, the better the image quality. You get some kind of nice circle. That wasn't the best. Where's my other? This is crafting with Nick now. I don't know where my other pinhole poker is. I had a little toothpick as well. Anyways, I just did it with a piece of paper, and you can do it as well. And you hold it up like that, and you'll still see the image of the sun. And believe it or not, you can also do this with your hands. So if you take your hands, you can even do like this and let the sunlight shine through and put it on a piece of paper, and you will actually see the light shining through. Or you can take your hands and kind of do this where you get like a whole bunch of little itty bitty holes. Any type of pinhole works. You hold it up to the concrete, hold it up to a flat surface, and you'll be able to see. And this will happen best, this will work best during the peak time. You'll see some crescent shapes there in the sun. So really that's the breakdown for us. And I got a note. I'm gonna keep an eye on one of my cameras here. We might try to get some video of this going. I'm going to switch you back to the graphics, and we're going to be live here, so we're going to be doing this kind of, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to swap over here. I'm going to switch some inputs on my side of things, so you might be able to see this. We have one of our photographers out. Let's see, which one am I going to switch to here? Let me see. All righty. So I have a new look here. This is from Tyler, one of our photographers, who is out right now. Let me switch that view for you real quick. Who is out right now at University of Mobile. They're looking at the eclipse there, and thankfully they have sunshine, so that's good. So just a little scene there, a few people getting out and looking at this thing, which is good. We want people to go and take a look at this. This is a really cool event. I mean, a seriously cool event, especially because we have little cloud cover, some areas with cloud cover, and the fact that we have mostly clear skies and 66% coverage. Now, you might finish the day and see this and be like, okay, when's the next one? 2024, we have a total solar eclipse happening just off to our west once again. And that one is going to have, for us, around 80% coverage. So that'll be a fun one there. Let's take a look. I'm going to go back and switch some graphics here. And we're going to take a look at satellite once again and see where the clouds are. And this is a good trend. I'm going to take the graphics full here. There we go. Look at this. So this is the visible satellite. And overlaid, we have in the white, you can see where the clouds are. And look, notice how the clouds are fading a bit there. That's a good sign to see. So, and maybe these clouds are thin enough. I don't know. And I've been needing to keep an eye on the comments here. If you are in one of these areas, I'm very curious to see. I had one conversation in the comments with one viewer from around Bruton, I believe, and or maybe points north, and that was overcast skies, they said. So it looks like some areas might be denser than others. but that's where the cloud cover is right now. And you see it's slowly drifting off to the east, but also fading. So we're going to be watching this very, very closely. And tell you what, I think that's going to be kind of a pause for me now as people are out there at University of Mobile as well taking a look at this. I'll switch back to that camera real quick, and there you are, University of Mobile. They're getting a chance to view this thing as it is now underway. And we are not too long, about an hour away now from the peak of the solar eclipse. I'm just going to switch back and forth. So they have the solar eclipse glasses there. Cool thing to take a look at, of course. And then they are dealing with only very light cloud cover, if anything, there near University of Mobile. So I'm going to leave this satellite picture up and let you have that. Remember, if you want to do the pinhole viewer, just poke a hole in some aluminum foil, poke a hole in a piece of paper, and you'll be able to see that. And I'm going to take a step outside in a moment, check on this myself, and I might do a Facebook Live or two from the phone just outside so I can show that. Not going to be able to show too much, but I'll be able to show you what I'm doing in terms of how I'm using the pinhole viewer there. So cool stuff happening today. Some of us have clouds. Hopefully those clouds fade so people can actually see this. Once again, solar eclipse happening today across our area and across the entire United States, with the best coverage, of course, happening in Texas. One other side note, I've been thinking about this. Alabama game, they're going to have about 50% coverage, and then North Texas game as well. They're going to have pretty close to 80% coverage there since they're so close to Texas. So happen to be watching football, you might notice that there's a little bit of a solar eclipse going on. So cool day today as the cold front passes through and we get a solar eclipse. I'll be keeping you updated throughout the rest of the morning and early afternoon. For now, I'm Meteorologist Nicholas Herboso in our live room. I'll see you outside and hope you get a chance to look at the solar eclipse.